Am I audible right now? So this is the new stream. So I hope I am audible, right? Okay. So let me drink some water. And this is okay. 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 Okay, guys. I think I should upload in my story, right? Before before starting this. Okay. So okay. Let me quickly upload this in my story. Okay, link. Wait, guys. Okay. So let me upload in my stream, in my story. Okay. Right. Okay, wait, guys, wait. 2 minutes. Okay, right. So, so I am Shamanta Koisho and welcome to this live stream. Today, we will try to explore the recent incident which happened in Baruipur, West Bengal, right? And simply to put this, a girl was gang raped and murdered, okay? And today we will try to explore how it folded out. So, I had created a story which I believe it could be useful for this stream. So the thing which we are going to do today is first, okay, first I am going to tell the story and then we will have a little bit question session, which means you can comment anything in the comment box, right? And whatever you feel is important, write in the comment box and give your opinions or ask questions or any ideas, anything which could be useful for this stream. So let me start with the story. Okay. So this is 4th of July 2026 and and right, Ima Khatun, okay, 11 to 12 years old girl. She was in her home and that day she left her home. So she left her home and she went outside. The reason was she wanted to go to her friend's house for birthday. She was invited for a birthday and she wanted to go there to celebrate that. The time was around 4:30 p.m. Around the day was Saturday. Before leaving, she had told her parents that she will come back sooner and they should permit her to go outside. Her parents also accepted that and she went outside alone. Okay, then her friend's house was her friend's house was almost 700 to 1 kilometer away from her house. So imagine this is her house, right? And her friend's house was almost 700 to 800 meter away from her house. And she was walking. Suddenly, a man approached her with red t-shirt. He was tall and Ima got surprised. So Ima was there and uh, she got surprised after seeing this man. Okay, so then okay, the man approached her and said something unique. He said that your family is in danger and they are in a one corner of the street. You have to hurry and save them. So Ima, so Ima listened to that and then she still was thinking and looking at that man. But the way that man approached felt something fishy to her. Now, okay, uh, right. So the man still again said, you have to hurry, you do not have time. Then he said, by holding her hands, you need to hurry. Then she accepted that and she went outside. Okay. The thing is, she again started to walk. The time was around 4:44 p.m. Okay. Wait a minute. Yes, right. So, yes, Ima then, so guys, yes, what? Yes, Ima then went with that man. So it was dark time, not completely dark. It was around 5 p.m. and she was walking in the street. Then the man was also with her and they were walking. Suddenly Ima thought, it is very bad to go with that man. I need to leave. Then that man again approached her and said, you have to go. Family is in danger. You need to go. Now Ima wanted to live at any cost and she started to live by running. And when the man looked back and saw that she left, then he started to run and went to catch that girl. Okay, right. He ran also and tried to catch that girl. The man folded her and quickly grabbed her and grabbed in such a way that she was unable to move. He just caught her and started to hurry back. Now the position of the village or of the locality was now very silent. Silence was there and no one was present in there. Now, now, okay, Ima and that man, right? Yes. So right now, what is the situation? Now, what was the situation? Then what happened? Then that man took Ima to a very silent place and it was full forest. It was full of trees. So there were trees all around that place, and it was completely silent, right? And it was very much silent. Then next, other 2 to 3 men joined that man. She saw those men approach her and she started to shout and she said, "Help us, help me." And she began to shout. That made those men frustrated. And those men were frustrated and they slapped Hima very hard. But she never stopped shouting. Then she again got slapped. Then she became silent and no sound was coming from her. Now it was completely silent. So it was completely silent. Right. So it was completely silent. Okay. So guys, this was the first part, right? And we will going to continue, right? But let me ask you this. If you want to know why it happened like this, then give your opinion. I am ready to take it. So if anyone has any opinions, then they can give this in the comment box. Right now, I am not getting any opinions or anything in the comment box or in the chat box, right? So I believe let's continue with this story. It was completely silent. Okay, wait. Right. Okay. So, so as I said earlier, right? As I said earlier, Ima was abducted and somehow kidnapped by by that man, and then other men joined that man, right? And he, they were there, present in that forest. Okay, it was there were no houses to be seen. It was completely isolated place, and a young girl was there, and she was full of fear. She was crying also, and she was afraid. Nevertheless, here she was. She also was shivering a lot. Suddenly, they were all there, and three men joined that place. Okay, three men joined that place with few vehicles, and they quickly came, right? Now, that man which I said earlier was Prabhash. His name was Prabhash Mondo. And I will show you later. Then the three men joined, and one of the men's name was Anando, and there were other two men. Their name was one's Dibakar and another one's was Kabir Mullah. They joined that they joined with other men, and okay, so Anando joined with those men, right? Okay, Ananda was somehow in other places, and then okay, okay. So Ananda was in other places. Then he joined those men, and uh, he joined those men, and he got out from his vehicles. Then he looked at that girl and said, "Okay, nice, done, Prabhash." Prabhash said, "Yes, nice done, but it was very hard work. We need around 10,000 rupees to 20,000 rupees, and you need to give us anyhow. Otherwise, we would not leave." Ananda looked to Prabhash with angry face, and he said, "You do not need to worry. We are, yes, you do not need to worry. We will going to give you the money." He took out 10, 15, 10 to 15,000 rupees from his pocket, then gave to Prabhas. Before giving Prabhas, he calculated very hard, right? And he looked to the cash and gave it to Prabhas. Then Prabhas took that money from Anando and he calculated the cash and then he got satisfied. Then he asked next, what will you do with this girl? Ananda said, you do not need to worry. You go now. Your work is done. You have to leave. Uh, Divakar also said, the man beside Ananda, yes, you do not need to worry. If you do not leave, it will be very bad for you. Prabhash noticed that it was like a threat which came to him and his men. Also, he was afraid and he said, okay, we are leaving. Then they left that place. Ananda and his men looked at Prabhash. They noticed Prabhash left. Then they looked to that girl. Prabhash pretended, okay, Prabhash pretended that he left, but in reality, he did not. He was there in a corner and with his men, he was looking at that situation silently so that he does not get caught, right? Okay. Now, guys, so what will happen to this girl, right? I hope you have this question. And what will this man do to that girl? So, this question, I had created some answers, and I believe those answers maybe will not be the most accurate one, but I have tried my best in order to get an answer, and that answer had been put into my story, right? It is not completely true, but I believe we need a theory, right? And it could be very much controversial, but I believe this could happen. So, guys, stick to this and be courageous because I am going to be. Sure, sure. Okay, I had got an idea. Okay, let me show you this people and how that could look. So, okay, so guys, let me show you this and how. Okay, wait. First, I need to connect this with this, right? Okay, wait a minute. So, right? So, this was this guy Prabhash, and as I mentioned earlier, right? Uh, in my story, so as I mentioned earlier, this was the man who took Ima, according to my theory, right? And we have several witnesses, several statements which indicate that, okay, which indicate that uh, Ima was being taken by this man, Prabhash, right? Okay, wait. Then, okay, wait, guys. Okay, so this was the guy Anando, okay? And this guy was the main accused who was who is in my story, right? And he is very much important in my story, okay? There is another guy. This guy. So this guy's name is Indrajit Tante, who was something happened to him, which I will show you later, right? And So I will, okay. So I will show you the rest of the people involved in my story later. But let me continue with that story. And right, the main question was how Ima Khatun was raped first, then murdered. That is the main question which we are trying to get, right? Which I am trying to get. And to get this, I had created the next part, which I believe could be useful. Okay. Now, what happened happened next in this story, right? I believe this question came to your mind also. This question has some answers, right? So let me continue. As I mentioned earlier, that I repeat, as I mentioned earlier, that those men from Prabhash side did not leave. And Ananda was there at that moment, and his other two men, Dibakar and Kobir, right? Then Anando and also Dibakar looked to Ima, and they were looking at her very frequently. Ima, on the other hand, was very much terrified, and now she started to run, but she was quickly grabbed by Kobe. Then Anando did not slap or other thing. She looked at Kobe and Devakar holded her and put her to the floor. And then he holded her right side of the body. Okay. Looking at this, Kabir holded her left side of the body, right? And one was holding left side, another one was holding right side of the body. Now, uh, now Anando did what? Right. Anando opened his pant, right? First, he took her clothes, took Ima's clothes out, which means he undressed her, right? And then after undressing her, he undressed himself, which means he took out his pant, right? And took out his penis and then started to have sex with her, which means he put her penis into her vagina. Emma was completely shocked, and maybe he never expected that. And she was in complete shock. First, she tried to move her right side of the body, which was holded by one man, and then the left side by other man. And then the more she was moving, the more this man grabbed her strongly so that she could unable to move and Ananda could do it smoothly, which means Ananda could have sex with Emma smoothly, right? That what means. But the movements made by Emma showed that Ananda got frustrated. I repeat, the movements made by Emma showed Ananda got frustrated in all of these things. Okay, guys, if you want to write anything in the comment box, you can give your opinions, right? And any questions. After this part, we will try to explore it differently, right? If you want if you have any ideas regarding this stream, you can write in the comment box. That will help this stream a lot. The movements made any questions are welcome. The movements made by Hima made Anand frustrated. Right. Okay. So the movements made by Hima when she was being raped, right, was too much, which made Ananda angry. Maybe thoughts were coming while she was moving a lot. Now let's get back to our story. Yes. So she was being raped at that moment, and Ananda did not stop. And Ananda was continuing putting his penis into Hima's vagina, and he completed after his sperm had been out, which means it was done for Ananda, but not for Dibakar. Dibakar was holding Hima for very long time, right? And he was also excited about this. And he looked to Ananda, and Ananda said, okay, you do it. Then he changed the position and he continued to have sex with her. Guys, I know it is maybe very frustrating for you to listen, but I am trying my best to show what exactly could have happened, not what exactly should have happened, right? So maybe it did not happen or it did happen, but what if it happened like this? That is my experiment. So if you have any ideas or objections, feel free to write in this box. But I must continue. Then Devakar left that place. Okay. Okay, wait. Hmm. Right. Okay. So now imagine, uh, no, no, no. Hmm. So Emma was lying and she was feeling that moment and she was unable to do anything. She tried to move, but it failed. Now she accepted that it would be impossible for her to run and she must accept them. Whatever they are doing, at least she is not dying. That could, that hope came to her mind. Divakar did not stop. He continued. Then Emma again shouted. Then he did similarly like what Anando did to her few minutes back. Then Devakar did that. Kobir looked at him. Then he said, uh, okay. Then he said, can I do this now? Devakar replied, yes, you can do it. Three men, one girl. She was being raped these three men were raping, right? That is what happened up to now. Right. So Ananda was holding him up in the left side right now, and Dibakar in the right side, and now Kabir was on it, and he was putting his penis to her vagina, and they were completed after few rounds. That was very much horrible for Ima right now, and he suffered a lot. She shouted a lot too, but nobody came her to help. Nobody maybe listened outside of these three men, and she did her best. Now they were talking something. They were discussing they could go another round and they can continue. And they agreed and they were going another round, but something happened. They looked, Prabhash was standing in front of them suddenly, and and Prabhash said, guys, stop, you cannot do more. She could die. You cannot do it. You have to stop. Nivakar looked to Prabha's face. He got angry and he got angry and he shouted, if you do not go back, you will be killed tonight. So shut up and go. Anando here was surprised to see Prabhas and he got silent. He was looking to that man and he was silent and his body started to tremble. He was looking all of them and was thinking something deeply at that moment. But meanwhile, Kabir and okay, Kabir and Hibakor. Now the situation was Ananda was here, right, and with two other men and got interrupted by Prabhash and his men. And Ima was lying here, right? So now something is happening. Okay, so right now they were stopped by this men, Prabhash and Ananda. As mentioned earlier, Ananda was standing and he saw Prabhash and he got Fear. Fear was looking into his eyes, and but he did not stop. As other two men were shouting and they were shouting to Prabhas, he quickly went to another corner. And Dibakar looked surprised. And Ananda came with a big stone, right? And they started to shout to Ananda right now. Okay, right, right. Okay. So, so guys, where was I? Yes. Okay. So Ananda took a heavy stone, right? And suddenly threw that stone into Ima's head. And everyone got surprised by this. Prabhas shouted, "What have you done? She will be killed." Divakar went to hit him, but was stopped by Kobe. And Ananda took Ima's body and said to his other men, "See, guys, it is late. We have to chew that body. If we are found, they have seen this, they have seen all of these things. If we are found, we would be killed. And we must chew that body somewhere else so that other people do not catch us right now. And after a few days, when the body will be found by police or other people, then we would join them and pretend that we do not know what exactly happened to the body, to this girl, right? Now, now Dibakar and Kobe looked to Anando and was surprised, right? And they looked to Anando and got surprised, but still followed his strategy, whatever you call. Then they first gathered a plastic bag. Meanwhile, they were watching. Other men were watching this. Some of them left, but Prabhash was there and watching all of these things. Prabhash was thinking something. He looked to these three men and wanted to do something with those men, but was unable to. Right? he was unable to do something. What is this? Plastic bag. Ima, what is this? Plastic bag was gathered by Anando and Hima was put into that bag and she was wrapped by other two men too. Then they took that body of Hima. She was alive, threw her to the near pond and they saw that body, but the body was moving. It was trying to survive. Not it. She was trying to survive. So Ima was there in that pond and she was still conscious. Now, she was okay. She was still conscious then and she was drowning, but she was alive. Ananda and his men left very quickly after seeing her, and those three men and Prabhash left before these three men. So they left first, then Ananda left, and she was trying to survive. Now we will go to the next part, but let's stop here as of now. Okay. What is the no 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 wait. Now guys, I know no one is watching me, but if people watches me later, then any question if comes to your mind, then write in the comment box. It would be helpful for me to find the flaws in this story. I know this story has flaws and it has no no you will have doubts, and only way I can find the doubts if you express your doubts, right? I repeat, the only way I will find the doubts if you express the doubts. So I cannot do anything if you do not express your doubts, right? So if any doubt now, but not now, but if later, then write in the comment box. If the story has any flaws, give your opinion. Okay. See, I had told many things about that, but I had not. No, no, I do not have lots of evidence to back this story, right? And there are not so many evidence, right? But that does not mean I do not have any evidence, which I believe I should show it right now. First one is that I said many things, right? So do I have any picture of Ima Khatun? I do not have right now. But I showed you the picture of Prabhash and I showed you the picture of Anando. I do not have the picture of Dibakar and I do not have the picture of Kobe. And there were other people also involved. For example, a local BJP leader, Shantanu, right? Which I am going to talk about later. And other local residents who later tried to investigate the location of Ima Khatu. So there were main two local residents. Now let me take their name as local resident 1 and local resident 2. Okay. Local resident 1 and local resident 2. Now let's summarize my story. Let's explore my story a little bit, right? First, guys, Ima was there. She had her parents. She left. Then she was kidnapped by Prabhash, right? Then other men joined and humiliated her by slapping her, but nothing had been done to her. Okay, now Ananda and other two men joined with vehicles and they joined here and they joined this one and then they told to leave, told them to leave. Who are they here? Prabhash and his men. So imagine Prabhash, right? And he left, but actually he did not leave. So maybe Prabhash, according to this story, is not so much a bad guy, right? He is not so much a bad guy because if he was a bad guy, then why would he not? Why would he stop Anando and his men later? Right? So Anando, okay. Guys, if you have anything to say, right, it will be helpful for this stream, I believe. Okay. So, okay. 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 So, so let me explore Anando first. This guy. And according to my story, he was a rapist and also a murderer, right? But why did he do these things? What made him do these things? Why was he so much frustrated? And what made him do raping and murder of a very young girl, right? And why did he particularly targeted a girl, not a man, right? So imagine I am Anando, right? And why am I targeting a 11 or 12-year girl and not a 30 to 40-year woman? What must have been going in his mind when he was deciding on whether to do that, whether to do the rape, or was that fully strategized or fully planned or he improvised later, right? So what do I mean by that? For example, in this story, uh, Ananda first raped Ima, right? But did he want to murder her too? For example, another, I had decided to rape a girl, but I did not decide to murder her. Could that be a possibility? Right? And why this sudden change of mind? What made him do that? Was that the thinking that what if other men who stood beside me suddenly start to think that I am not a great gangster or I am not a great man, right? Something like that. Now let's look from another point, right? So, uh, so he was maybe lonely. Divakar might be also lonely, right? And some transactions happen. So money was involved. Okay. Okay. So let's come back to the story. There was a part where Ananda and Prabhash made a transaction. So, a business where kidnapping is the main thing and kidnapping of a girl. So, Prabhash in this story sold. I repeat, Prabhash sold Ima, right? That is what it is. If I am selling a girl, right, and I'm getting money in return, so I sold a girl and got money. So that is what child trafficking is, right? Okay, child trafficking business. Trafficking. Child trafficking. I do not know the spelling. Let's say child trafficking. Okay, so as I said earlier, Prabhash sold that girl, Ima, and got money. And that is what child trafficking is. So the point is, it did not end in selling a girl. Can you murder a girl or can you rape a girl after buying that girl somehow? And another moment in that story, Prabhash was something sometimes thinking, right? That should I stop this? Is it extreme? I sold that girl, but can another man like Anando rape her? Maybe it came to his mind some type of guilt in Prabhash's side. So, guilt in Prabhash's side. Right. Okay, guys, let's explore this a little bit. Guilt, right? Let's focus on this. Guilt. let's focus on morality, right and wrong. Okay. So imagine I am Prabhat, right? And I sold a girl to another man and I got money. But what if other men do something harmful to her, a lot of harmful to her? Will I go to jail? There is a high possibility that I will go to jail. So I got 10,000 rupees, right? So I got in one side 10,000 rupees, 10 or 10 to 20,000 rupees. So 10,000 rupees I got and I gave that girl and I had worked hard for that. But what if that girl faces any danger and police gets involved and they catches me for this business and I am in jail. I could be in jail. So if okay guys, okay, if this thought comes to Prabhash, then can this be a possibility for him to stop Ananda and his men to continue raping her, according to this story? It can be a possibility, right? What do you think? Uh, in my view, it can be a huge possibility. I repeat, in my view, it could be a huge possibility to act in this way by Prabhash, to act in this way. Now let's forget Prabhash and now let's come back to Ananda again. Okay. Ah. Right. This child trafficking, then sexual assault slash rape, then murder or killing. Right? So according to my story, which I mentioned earlier, Anando was involved in this child trafficking business. Ananda was the buyer and Prabhash was the seller. And who is the product? According to them, maybe according to them, Hema was the product. So Hema, the girl, okay, I am not sure the name of that girl. I hope Hema was the name. Okay, I can be wrong too. Okay, Hema was the product, right? So the question comes, is she really the product? Can a girl be a product? Maybe not for me, but what if she was the product for Ananda and Prabhash? What if, according to them, she was the product and she can be bought and sold, just like just like I buy vegetables in a market, right? And what if in Baruipur, this is a big business where there are sellers and there are buyers, and the product are girls or humans overall. So that is my theory. I do not have strong evidence, but one thing I can say that transactions happened, okay? Transactions took place, right? And Prabhash confessed there that he took money in order to kidnap and give that girl to Anando and other men. And was he lying or telling the truth? I am not sure about that. But if he was telling the truth, that means at least he was involved in this child trafficking business. So he was at least involved in this child trafficking business, right? And also Anand. So now let me show you the videos. Okay, guys, no, I need to complete the story, okay? And I have not completed yet. In the next stream, I am going to continue with the second part of this story. Today, I showed the first part. Tomorrow, I would show you the next part. And in the next part, we are going to show you the after effects of throwing Emma to the pond, right? So they threw her to the pond, but what happened after that? So we are going to explore this question tomorrow. Now, let me focus on this story and the raping. Okay, the raping part. The question is what made Anando and his men to rape her? Okay, do you have any answers? When Anando was undressing his pant, right? What was going in his mind? How was he looking Emma? Was he looking her like a porn actress, something like that? Or was he looking like what? What was he looking her? Or the question is, how was he looking her? What images were coming to his mind when he was in that spot? So I believe that is a very great question, but now let's focus on the answer, right? So I do not know exactly, but one thing I can say is they have complicated emotions, right? Even if I do not know what was going in Anando or Divakar or Kubir Mulla's mind, but their actions indicate that they are very lonely people and they are people who try to dominate or try to control other people very easily, and they cannot accept resistance from a girl like Ima. Imagine I am a guy who does not have any woman in her life who loves him, loves me dearly. I repeat, imagine, okay, uh, so imagine I am Anando and I am a man who does not get love from his family members or even wife. I can say one thing, Anando has a wife and has children. Okay. So this guy maybe did not get love in home and he started to find love elsewhere. But what if that love converts into hate? What if you want to control a young girl, but she is not ready to be controlled by you? What will make you feel? How will this make you feel? Angry or frustrated? I repeat, angry or frustrated. So these questions are very tough to answer, but here we are. Now, same thing for Divakar, right? In this story, Ananda was not the only one for this murder, right? The other two men were also involved. And what we had seen that those two men were not equally involved, right? Equally involved. So not equally involved. So uh, what do I mean by equally involved? For example, we are three men and I am doing something to a girl, right? The murder, the stone hitting which had been done was done by Anando, not by Divakar or not by Kobe, right? So those two men were not involved in this stone hitting. So stone had been taken and was thrown by him to that girl, to the girl's head. In the meantime, Kobir and Divakar did not do that, did not do this thing, according to this story. So the question is, if they are not equally involved, right? Will their punishment also be not equally? For example, if there are three people, right? And three people had not equally done the crime. I repeat, three people and one person had done more crime than the two people. So the punishment according to the law, will it give those three men equally or will it give Anando more punishment and lesser punishment would be given to Divakar and Kobe? So I had that question, but I do not know the answer. In my view, if crime had been not done equally, so punishments should not be given equally to. The person who had done the more crime should be given more punishment, right? But okay, wait. Yeah, right. So where was I? Now let's focus on Prabhash, right? This man. So according to my theory, he was not a murderer. One, he was not a rapist. Two, but he was a kidnapper. He was involved in this child trafficking business. So what punishment should he had got? But one thing I need to clear, he is dead. He got killed by police officers. So he is dead right now. But I will show you later the part which I will try to cover tomorrow in the next stream, right? But the question is, no, the point is, Prabhash must get some punishment. He got punishment, but according to the law, which means in the court, what punishment should he have got? So imagine he did not die, and imagine he was alive. And according to this story, what punishment should he get from judges? So these questions I will try to explore in next streams. Okay. But my next stream will cover the next story, and from there we will explore tomorrow. But if you have any comments related to this, if you have any objections, if you have any opinions, feel free to comment after this stream. So that is all for today. And tomorrow I'm going to explore the next part. Thanks for watching.